To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Okay, I'm back at the tiny house build today. And as I showed you yesterday, I started hanging insulation on the walls. What a difference that makes. I didn't notice yesterday, but today there is less echoing. It's much quieter in here. It doesn't echo near as much. And I thought, wow, that's incredible considering I don't even have any insulation on this wall. It's hard to see through the sun. Well, I guess a piece up there. But regardless, I don't have much. I don't have any insulation except one strip on this wall. And I got all the corners to do. But man, it made a huge difference. So just imagine when I get the roof and the ceiling done. Wow. So today I'm going to continue with the interior. I don't know how much insulation I'm going to get up today. My goal is to get things sealed up. Call it nitpicking, call it whatever you want, but I bought a 100-year-old home back in 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. It was a drafty house, and I spent the next 10 years trying to do everything I could to make it less drafty. I put new windows in, I insulated the walls. I took blown insulation. You rent a machine and you buy this like newspaper, crumbled up, ripped up newspaper stuff, and it goes down in the walls. I sealed all the cracks I could. I put carpeting down, and it was still a drafty old house. I mean, it was a constant battle every winter. Well, I'm going to do everything I can to this house to make sure that I don't have that pesky little draft bugging me all the time. I remember in that old house, there was a spot right underneath the window, and then I must have missed some insulation. And it would frost up there. It would get so cold that it would frost up right underneath the window. Just a little spot, so the insulation didn't fill that area. It was just miserable all the time. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some time to seal up the drafts. So yesterday I was telling you, I'm going to caulk the corners, and I can't get the camera back in there. But when these two walls came together, so when this wall came up and met up with this wall right here at the corner, it's hard to show you with all the sunlight. Maybe I can show you over here. But they met up. Well, where they meet up at, no matter how tight you get the screws to pull those two boards in together, there's still daylight coming through. Well, then I house wrapped it, which made it better. But I still think that there's a potential that air can get through there, especially on a really windy, cold morning. Where these two walls come together, so this is two separate walls. This is a wall, this is a wall. They came up separately. Where they come together, you can see daylight coming up from down there. So I'm just going to take some caulk and seal all that up. Now, as far as the furnace goes, the wood stove goes, a lot of people say you can't seal it up because it's going to suck air. You're going to need air. It's going to draw all the air out. Well, these new stoves are really amazing. In the back, there's a hole where you put a pipe, and I already bought the pipe. It's right here. And that pipe you take outside. So it's going to go from the back of the stove to the outside, and it sucks air out from outside. That way, it's not drawing air through the windows, causing drafts. Now, also yesterday, I told you that I was going to have to put corner boards here in the corners so drywall can be put there. So essentially what I got to do is I got to put a board right here or right here. It's hard to see with all that sunlight. And that way, when you hang your drywall, you got something to screw into. Like I said, a lot of commenters were very upset that when I built the walls, I didn't put the corner boards in. When 2x4s are $8 a piece, you know, somebody just this morning said, I remember when 2x4s were 99 cents a piece, you know, the stud size. And yeah, they weren't that expensive. You could get them for $2 a piece. But when they're 8, 10, and in some cases $16 a piece, you really need to watch what you're spending your money on. So I didn't put them in when I built the wall. I told everybody I was going to put them in later. Well, now is later. So yesterday I said what I was going to do is I was going to take my remaining 2x4s, I would only need 2, and I was going to cut them down the center, make a 2x2 out of it. And I was going to use a bunch of elaborate bracketing with old scrap wood. Well, the more I think about it last night, the more I realized, why am I doing that? When we tore this trailer apart, it used to be a mobile home, the floor had pretty good 2x4s still in it. The trailer had been sitting here since 1975 and it was in terrible shape. I mean, just terrible. But the 2x4s in the floor were really good. So what I did was I cut the 2x4 right there, right before it got bad. And I used those 2x4s for our floor. And it turned out fabulous. It worked out great. That left the remainder of the 2x4, the bad 2x4, and Carolyn won't throw anything away. Until the project is done, she won't throw it away. She kept these, and she said, well, if we don't use them for anything else, we can use them for firewood this winter down there on the old Franklin wood stove. We can't use it in this one. I'm glad she hung on to them, because I'm just gonna use these. So I'll just stick it right there. You won't even see the bad spot. And all it's got to do is just hold a piece of drywall, so it's not doing a lot of work. And I got a bunch of these laying around, so take 2, 3, maybe 4 per corner. And even if I don't have enough to do all the corners, it still saves me a lot of 2x4s. Little bit of extra work, I agree. Having to cut each one. Whereas if I just did one 2x4, stuck it up there, it'd be done and over with. But it's cost savings, a lot of cost savings. If a board is going for $8, that's $24. Okay, so I got all the caulk put down in the 4 corners. I ran out, I didn't get the 2 side walls, but that's okay, I can do that later. Right now I'm just worried about the corners so I can get that insulated. I made a mistake. The battery is not supposed to be used below 40 degrees because the battery will discharge faster. So I'm going to be running back and forth getting batteries charged. I should have put it in my pocket to keep it a little bit warmer, but it is what it is, so I'll just deal with it. Okay, for those that insisted I get those put in, ta-da! They're put in. For those that don't know what I was talking about, so this is the little corner board everybody was so concerned about. So now, imagine this is your drywall. You have something to screw your drywall into right here. So before, you wouldn't have had anything to screw into. If you'd have put it over here like that, then you'd have had a gap right there. So now everything's nice and... That's funny, I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, so now that'll fill in the gap, right? And I bring the camera over here to show you how it filled in the gap, yet I can still get my finger in there. It is incredible how junky they manufacture wood. This is a 2x6, and this is a 2x6. Everything should be lined up right now, and it's not lining up. That's incredible. So when you come to the bottom, this is the board right here that had the gap. When you come to the bottom, you can see everything lines up. Okay, so I got all the corner boards up now, so I'm starting to run out of time, just like always. It seems like I'm always running out of time, but I'm going to try to get a little bit of insulation up in at least the corners, and then tomorrow I can finish up the insulation on the walls, and then get started up on the attic, get the floor put up. One step at a time, that's about all I can do. But I've made a lot of progress. I mean, in a short period of time, figure September, I only had a floor, I think, is all I had done. Just in a month and a half, I don't know. Most of it is put together. Working it all by myself, 3 hours, 4 hours a day. Again today, I'm gonna wear my mask. The fibers, the fiberglass gets down in your throat. I'm already feeling it, and I just, moved a couple around. So it doesn't take much. So I'm just using a stapler to staple the insulation to the stud. This is called face insulation, meaning it has the moisture barrier. On the moisture barrier, there is this little tab of paper that you take the stapler and you just staple that right to the stud. Okay, well, I'm out of time today, so I guess I'll continue the installation tomorrow. I got most of it done. The only thing I got to do now is just a little fill in pieces. I'm just so proud of this thing. It's just, I wish everybody could experience this kind of satisfaction in life where you're accomplishing something on your own freedom and your own time. You don't have to worry about government regulations and loan payments and banks notes and insurance. I don't have to worry about any of that. If the thing burns down, I'll build a new one. It really is that simple. It doesn't cost a lot to live small, but live happy. I hope I can inspire you to live free and happy. Thanks for watching.